We weren't that power couple we could have been if we were healthier and happier and much more aligned. Syngin leaves and leaves me devastated. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my new series, Single Life to Single Life. What this isn't capturing, it's everything between from when you saw me crying in the driveway saying goodbye to Syngin to partying in Aruba. It's kind of a big change, so what happened in between? I'm gonna get into that in this series. Something that wasn't caught on camera before Syngin left was a going away party that I hosted for him. I know some of you are probably asking, why would you throw your soon-to-be ex-husband a going away party? And I don't know, y'all, I'm just different. Like, I just do things that feel right, and it just felt very right that, you know what, Syngin's and my marriage was ending, but didn't mean that our friendship had to end, didn't mean that I was just sending him out into the States all alone by himself. I just thought it was super important. It was a big transition. Syngin doesn't have many friends here at all. He has no family here. And so I just wanted to gather the people he does know to say, hey, you know what? You and I may be ending our marriage, but it doesn't mean the end of everything. Here's everyone that knows you, loves you, and is sending you so many well wishes on this next journey of your life. I knew I was going to be staying here with my friends and my family, and he was just going out into the world to who knows where, you know? Syngin had no idea it was happening. One of my old co-workers actually kind of became friends with Syngin, and so I call him up and I'm like, hey, can you take him out golfing for one of his last days here? And while you do that, I'm setting up a surprise party for him. So that was the plan. Well, Syngin cancels the golf trip with him and he hits me up and he's like, hey, what am I supposed to do? And I'm like, I don't know, I'll try to get him out, like, figure it out. And I don't know, Syngin was just in a mood. So golf trip canceled. I'm like, okay, well, you just have to stay up in the room then. Like, I have something planned for you. Like, you're ruining my plan right now. He did. He just stayed up in the room, and my mom comes over and we set up all the canopy tents. I had food coming. My friends start showing up. So Syngin sees, obviously, I'm throwing him a party, and he's like, kind of like, oh, a party with Tanya and all her friends, whatever. But then he comes down and then he sees like Chart and his friend from Pennsylvania, and he sees, you know, the couple of the guy friends that were my friends that became his friends, and he sees them here, and he just like, he was so happy. He's like, wow, thank you. I thought it was just gonna be you and your girls, and like, I love this and I appreciate it. And so it was just really, it was really, really nice.
My wife still loves you a lot. Plans a lack of fucking get together. I also really can't believe you guys are here as well. I'm like, shit.
You would think that like a going away party from that's hosted by the soon-to-be ex-wife of the person that's going away would be like super awkward and weird, but it wasn't. It just was such a great time. Everyone had such good energy. Everyone was giving Syngin hugs and like asking him his next steps. Michael and Juliana, when they were still together, they came with the kids. It was a fun time. The family was here. We played cornhole. We had bounce houses for the kids. It was a good time. I had a cake made that said adios and good luck.
So at a going away party, that's my cake right there. Adios and good luck, amigos.
And since he was going to Arizona, you know, I had a cowboy on it and some cacti in it. We were drinking, we were having fun. So yeah, it didn't feel so awkward. It felt like full of love. So towards the end of the party, everyone kind of starts, you know, some folks start filtering out. Like the rest of us are like still down. So we go out to the bars in downtown New London, and you know, it gets pretty late. I don't even know what happened with Syngin's night, because I know I came home because he wasn't ready to go home. He wasn't too sure what happened with his night. And then come to find out, weeks later, I'm hanging out with one of my best friends, Kevin. He's like, did you know I picked Syngin up the other night, the night after, like the going away party? He was like, you know, Tanya, I did always think you were really dramatic about how you talk about Syngin and his drinking. He was like, I saw Syngin and Chart on the side of the road, drunk and arguing. He's like, y'all can't be doing this. So I picked them up, and then they're still arguing. He's like, all right, well, you guys can't be doing this in my car. And he's like, so I kicked them back out. So, and he was like, yeah, he was like, I never saw Syngin like that. And I'm like, Yeah. Also, what wasn't aired was the fact I got him a really cool going away present. I thought it was super cute. He really loved it. It was a bag full of hair clips, floss, because he's always flossing his teeth, chapstick, and like a bunch of other little things that he would always be asking me for, no matter what we were doing, in the house, in a car, on a road trip, anywhere. He'd be like, hey, where's the floss? Hey, I need something for my hair. Hey. So I literally put everything in a bag. So I told him, I was like, so that way you can keep it close to you. Just put it over the headrest in the passenger seat. So anytime you need anything, you can just reach in and grab whatever you need. I got him paperwork to adopt a dog in Arizona. I made a donation to a dog adoptive center in Arizona in honor of Syngin's dog that had passed away recently. But you know, I only got to see Syngin giving me my recycled stones back. So here we are in the driveway saying goodbye to each other, and you know, it all just accumulates together. Like, I am saying goodbye to a man that I loved, a man who I envisioned my future with, you know, building houses together and building a farm and retreat center together and raising our kids barefoot running through the mountains, you know, having deep passionate love outside under the stars like we had, and you know, and saying goodbye to all of that, saying goodbye to what we could have had. And I think that's why we stayed together for so long, because like we knew what we could have, but we weren't working towards it. You know, it's hard to say goodbye to someone that you love so much, but you know that staying together isn't the best for you, for either of you. I feel like neither of us really grew or blossomed with or for each other or by each other. What happened once we said goodbye and Syngin drove off? I knew it was going to be very hard for me. I didn't want to say goodbye to Syngin and come right back in the house and sleep right in our bed. So my girlfriends and I, we booked a lake house in Connecticut. And as soon as Syngin left, my girlfriends came, picked me up, brought me to the lake house, where we had a blast. We had a fire the first night where we just were chill and hung out. Yeah, I know, last night it felt really good. Had my girls with me and everything. So it's like 7 in the morning, and this is the first morning I'm waking up, newly separated, divorced, single. I don't even know what, because we didn't sign any papers yet or anything. And honestly, like, all I want to do is like check in on Syngin. You know, I did message him last night, and I just asked like how he was doing, but I would also, you know, I did asked how he was doing, and I said, if you don't want me texting you, that's all right, just let me know. Totally respect it. But the message never went through, so I don't know. Yeah, wow. Now I feel like it's hitting me a little bit more. Like, Syngin's really gone. When we woke up, we did breakfast, we played a game, we played like, was it Case Files? You have to figure out the murderer or something, and that was a lot of fun. And then we start drinking, and then there was a lake, and we get in our paddle boards, and I don't even know, we filled water bottles with whiskey. Next thing I all know, we're all taking naps in that. We did 2 nights at that lake house, and it was great. It was great, you know, until I get dropped back off at home, and I open up the door, and it's quiet and lonely. And then starts my first month in the house without Syngin. With Syngin gone, it was definitely like a struggle for me. I am grateful that I have the flexible work I've been able to find. I was able to take the time to be able to allow myself to grieve and get sad and cry and be miserable and be depressed and just be. I'm grateful that I didn't have to wake up every day and put makeup on and put a fake smile on and go out and act like nothing was bothering me. Having that time and space really, really helped me be able to move on. You know, for some folks, talking about the past and talking about feelings and everything would bring them back into that space. But for me, it's not. I've dealt with it, I processed it, and now I can freely talk about it. Actually, during the time Syngin was leaving, the Brujas of Brooklyn were starting another 40-day sadhana, which is a 40-day spiritual practice, and what they host are 40 days of meditations based in the style like Kundalini yoga. The series was about removing stagnant energy out of your way and getting new flows into you. I still remember when they posted about it, I cried. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. My husband's gonna be leaving soon. I think it really helped me with the flow. It helped me through the process. So I finished the meditation this morning, and of course, it was very early, and I just didn't have much energy, so I went back to sleep for a couple hours, and woke up. So this is almost exactly a week since Syngin left. This is day 6 since Syngin left, and so far I feel like I'm doing okay, you know, and I think it's helped that like my mom's come by a couple days. It definitely helped that I left for a few days with the girls to the lake house. There are definitely times where I'm just sitting and I'm like, damn, like missing them, but I don't know. So far I'm sad, but I feel like I'm doing okay. And I don't know if it's just, I mean, I said I was doing okay, you know, and then as soon as I said goodbye to Syngin, I was bawling my eyes out, so I don't know, but yeah. So this actually would be the second or third sadhana I was doing with the Brujas of Brooklyn. First sadhana I did with them, Syngin actually did some of it with me. I had huge moments of clarity, and I remember going to my therapist's office and just kind of laying out like the next steps for Syngin and I. At that time, Syngin and I weren't doing good. Like, we just weren't doing good. And she's like, this is the most clear I've seen you be since you've been a patient of mine. So doing this meditation and taking this time out and doing the energy and moving the energy within my body, I think that just, it really, really helped with the process of going through the grief. Day 2 of my 40-day meditation with the Brujas of Brooklyn, and exactly 1 week since Syngin left. And I don't know, I feel like the first week I was doing pretty good. Making sure I was going to bed early and trying to eat right. And last night was the first time I like really struggled. In moments of like uncertainty, extreme anxiety, and some depression, I tend not to take the best care of myself, and that shows up with like how I eat and how I sleep. So for like last night, you know, I knew I was tired, but I just kept watching TV and not like fighting it, but I was just like, I'm able to like push aside my sleepiness. Like, I can feel it, but I don't let myself sleep. So, you know, 4:30 in the morning, and finally I'm like, all right, Tanya, it's time to go to bed. Like, you know what, let me go ahead and do my meditation, because I'm supposed to do it once a day. And, you know, during the witching or ambrosia hour, it's like fast. So it's 4:30. I was like, no better time than now. And I did my meditation, which felt really good. Fell asleep. I didn't have many dreams or anything, but it felt good to do the meditation. I only slept like 3 hours, and then got up, and you know, I just see that I'm struggling. I'm struggling with like being motivated and doing things. I feel like I'm more just floating through the motions, floating through doing dishes because I know they have to be done, not actually doing the dishes. And saying that out loud sounds so weird, but that's the only way I can describe how I'm going. You know, and then I was doing laundry, and Syngin's bracelet comes out, you know, and it's just like pain. Just like sadness and pain. But yeah, that's where I'm at. You know, and there's different steps to grief. So you have, was it denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And I feel like the first few, Syngin and I actually did together while as a couple, you know, like we knew the relationship was done before we actually said it was done. Yeah, so I feel like, you know, this month after Syngin left was like the steps of me going through depression into acceptance. I have a bed upstairs. It's a twin, but you can pull out the bottom and it turns into a king, so it has 2 little flat mattresses. I brought one of them down. I brought it into the living room where I just like stayed every day. I was sleeping there. Had you could have the TV at the kitchen right in front of me. I didn't have to do shit, but other than go upstairs to take a. I didn't really do much. I just binge watched TV. I wasn't brushing my hair. I wasn't taking care of myself. My mom came over for a few days. I think we made tea together one day, and that was nice. One of my good friends is actually cousin with my best friend, so she was down visiting from California, so like forcing myself to like get dressed and go out, and that was like nice to do. And then one day I was like, oh, I just need to go get a healthy meal. I just need to go eat healthy. So I finally like throw on some clothes and I get in my car and I go drive downtown New London, and I go to throw my car in reverse. I can parallel park, and my some belt, the belt that like this that puts it in drive or whatever, snapped. And so my car was stuck. Bank Street in downtown New London is a one-way street, and this was happening literally at high business hour. And so the traffic was so blocked up. My car's there. People are like, oh, well, let's just pop it in neutral. And I'm like, we can't. Like my my shift is like stuck. It's not moving anywhere. So my car is just stuck in the middle of the road. And it just felt like the fucking universe was laughing at me. Like.
So, the gods have wanted to play a joke on me. That is my car. Well, so with Syngin leaving,
when Syngin left, he took our car. My grandma actually had like a spare car, and I had a lot more stability here. I let him take our car.
I went to go get a parking spot so I can grab lunch real quick at this nice organic vegan restaurant, and my transmission slipped right there. Won't go neutral. I can't push it out the way. Yeah. This, and you can't even see it, how far traffic is blocked. I can't believe it. It's fucking rush hour in downtown New London. One-way street. And my car is stuck. And what's even funnier is I'm trying to do 3 weeks of sobriety, no drinking, no smoking, no nothing. And Lord, they are testing me because I never wanted to drink so bad.
You know, like 3 weeks after Syngin left, I have this big doctor appointment. Thankfully, Syngin did encourage me to get more serious with my health. You know, I would have these dizzy spells where if I would laugh really hard or something, that I would kind of actually, it's like struggle to breathe, and my vision would go tunnel vision and get dark, and I'd have to sit down for a minute. And I kind of just always brush that off as like, oh, I'm just a little short on oxygen. I laughed too hard or something. And he's like, no, that's not too normal. You should get that checked out. So I did. I brought it up to my PCP, and I had to get an MRI. So like, do I have something wrong with my brain? Like, do I have a tumor somewhere? I'm all by myself. I don't have my like main support here with me anymore, so I was a little nervous and it was scary.
I received results from my doctor and my MRI that I have Chiari malformation, which is my brain goes down into my spine a little too much, basically. So I am at the doctor's, at a neurosurgeon, to see how good or bad this is. Good meaning I won't need surgery and we just have to monitor it. Bad meaning I may need surgery. And it's just a lot of feelings. First major doctor appointment, something medical, something serious. And, you know, Syngin's not here. I'm doing this alone. I called my mom, and my mom's coming at least. But, yeah, you know, I found out 2 weeks before he left, and now this is about 2 weeks after he left, so yeah.
It felt so lonely going and not having Syngin there. No matter how crazy things would get, he was someone strong I could hold on to. But thankfully, you know, my mom met me at the doctor's appointment, and we went in together. And as long as it doesn't affect my day-to-day quality of life, like he was like, don't let anyone cut into your brain. And so far it really doesn't. Thankfully for that. Thanks Syngin for encouraging me to go to the doctors. At least I do know what it is now. and I am grateful that it's not that bad. Even though I was able to still somewhat function and attend a couple different events during this almost month-long time, I still was in a very dark space and didn't do a lot and was just laying down all day and didn't brush my hair for I think like up to a week once. And finally I just like woke up one morning or one evening and was like, okay, that's it. I messaged my friends like, hey, I need you guys to come over and help me clean up my house and help me get out of this funk. So they did. Like the best friends that I have, they responded. They took shifts for a weekend. They all came over, helped me put my clothes away, mop and do my dishes and just do basic cleaning just to refresh and clean up the energy and get the bad energy out and new fresh energy in, and it helped me. And amongst all of this like depression and everything, I had to figure out what I was doing with this campsite that I had booked. It was supposed to be a cute couples trip. It was supposed to be one of my best friends, Avery, and her boyfriend, and Syngin and I. Avery started her master's program, so she couldn't attend anymore, and well, Syngin and I were no longer a couple, so we couldn't go together. I now had to prepare for this camping trip that was planned with Syngin. So stay tuned so you can see who I went camping with.